Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be looking at this article here. This is what I thought would happen. J.D. Dillard, this gentleman, the Weekend Light, I guess we could say, has been tapped to direct, we believe anyway, a Star Wars movie by The Hollywood Reporter. They had the exclusive on this. Now, if you don't know who this is, I did a video on it. I'll try and leave it linked above. But just as a quick recap, he essentially has done no work. What he has then is Slight, 2016, 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Sweetheart, 5.7 out of 10, and that was in 2019. Now, this is not a man that has a huge wealth of experience, but he's being handed the keys to the castle. Now, when did we last see someone that did that? Oh, yes, it was Rian Johnson. Although, admittedly, Rian Johnson actually had more experience than J.D. Dillard here. But what we'll see with this article is that because of his pigmentation, all critical thought goes out the window. And you again, like, it's not, that's not me. My issue with him taking over the role was that he's unqualified, and I think, you know, the writing's on the wall in front of Kathleen Kennedy of who's a good fit for this, and I said it'd be Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. They've proven themselves with The Mandalorian, and yet now we're getting this chap. But the media removes all critical thought, and they go, right, he's black. And I know you might say, whoa, Mr. A, whoa, what are you saying? Well, read the bloody title to this article, and you hope for inclusion. I mean, doesn't that not speak volumes? Does that not say it right there? Yes, it does. So let's get into it, right? And again, I would hate to be, right, if I was black, I would absolutely hate to be put on a pedestal just because of my pigmentation. Good God, that would piss me off. To be lauded over just because I was black? Really? That would annoy the shit out of me. So before you all go, you know, racist and all this kind of nonsense, just think for 1 second. Just think for 1 second. Because we compare it to Parasite, right? A movie which has been out and is absolutely taking, you know, the world by storm. The guy's South Korean, right? Well, he's not winning the awards because he's South Korean. He's winning the awards because, first and foremost, the movie's good. And it's the same thing with this. You should be given the opportunities because you're good at what you do. This chap, unfortunately, hasn't proven himself. But yet, we get the articles like this. It's a funny state of affairs, is it not, in Hollywood? So, Lucasfilm has hired J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens to develop a new project, which could become the first feature set in a galaxy far, far away, overseen by filmmakers of colour. As if that's important. It's not important. I have lots of black people that watch my channel, and, well, not only do a lot of people have issues with the whole term people of colour, which I think is bizarre and almost racist in and unto itself, but yeah, a lot of people will just be like, well, that doesn't matter. They want talent first and foremost. Again, sound off in the comments if you are one of these people that I'm referring to. Now, another week, another Star Wars project in the works at Lucasfilm, but this time it's something different. Oh yes, that's right, ladies and gents, because of his pigmentation. Not the fact that he's produced anything of actual worth and note. I mean, these are not particularly, you know, fantastic films. Now, anyway, so it continues, right? On Friday, we learned that J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens are developing a new Star Wars feature. This is one of several projects in the works at Lucasfilm, including features from Kevin Feige and Rian Johnson, as the company maps out the future of the franchise after the Rise of Skywalker and outside of the Skywalker saga, which has comprised 9 of the 11 live-action Star Wars features. Details are scarce at the moment, and it was them that dropped it, so yeah, of course details are scarce. And it's unknown whether the film will be a theatrical release or it will be on Disney Plus. But whatever this film was about, and however it's delivered to viewers, the talent behind the project is worth getting excited about. What? Again, you might not have heard of this man, right? And again, this is how media tends to kind of skew things. You might not have heard of this man, but if you were to read these articles, you'd go, God damn, really? Let me have a look at this guy. What a fantastic filmmaker this is bound to be. And you take a look, right? If you didn't know, and you didn't take a look, you'd go, yeah, epic, I'm excited now. Because it's something worth getting excited about, is it? Well, his IMDb ratings are not very high. He hasn't hit a 6 out of 10. His Rotten Tomatoes scores are even worse. It's not someone which is highly lauded over. Like, not a lot of people like what he's done. But again, like I say, all critical thought goes out the window because of his pigmentation, and it's just baffling. You should all be assessed, all on the same merits, right? To have anything else is racist. It's racially prejudiced. To be viewed and scored on merits which are not necessarily there, and allowances made because of this, that, and the other, it's just ludicrous. That's racist. Anyway, Matt Owens is best known for his work as a writer on Luke Cage and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., while J.D. Dillard is a recent breakout talent in the genre film world. Again, I will remind you, breakout talent, 5.9 out of 10, 5.7 out of 10. But remember, breakout talent. With 2 films under his belt, the sci-fi drama Slight and the survival horror Sweetheart, both of which premiered at Sundance and were picked up by Blumhouse. While neither men are household names yet, they are making major strides in the world of genre filmmaking. Dillard, in particular, has a filmmaking quality that's not unlike J.J. Abrams early in his career, because that's what we want, isn't it? Jesus. And it's focused on strong, deeply human characterizations and the element of mystery and spectacle within a budget. Not long ago, after the premiere of Sweetheart on Netflix, I commented that Dillard was the perfect person to direct the next Cloverfield entry. Little did I know that it wasn't Cloverfield, blah, blah, blah. Bearing in mind, right, I believe the person that's writing this article is black. Or as they'd probably prefer to be called, a person of colour. Again, surely that's a racist term. I swear it is. Anyway, though Dillard and Owens have been hired to develop a script with no director set, it's possible Dillard could find himself in the director's chair, should the project move beyond the scripting stage. Now, initially in the report, they didn't say he was just on to develop it, but not necessarily to develop a script. They kind of noted that it was Owens that was making the script, and they hinted more that it was Dillard who was going to direct. So this is a bit odd, really. They're kind of changing it a little bit. Now it says, in terms of both writing and directing, this would mark the first time that people of colour have been behind a Star Wars film. While there are undoubtedly circles of the internet who would strive to convince you otherwise, putting 2 black men in charge of a Star Wars film is a very big deal. I mean, it's really not. Like, it shouldn't be. Just, it's talent that should be the big deal here. The fact that they've got, you know, pigmentation and stuff like this, that shouldn't really be the big deal. The sooner we start to move away from this seeing colour nonsense, you know, the sooner we can get away and actually just improve quality overall. You know, because what he's made currently is not particularly great. Now, I will say this, could have a fantastic idea, of course. But as it stands, resume-wise, not that good. Now, obviously, it continues. It says, since Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, one of the biggest complaints lodged at the company, overseen by Kathleen Kennedy, is the property's lack of inclusivity behind the screens. What about all these people that have been directing The Mandalorian, hey? What? Deborah Chow? Pretty sure she was... Yeah, she did one of the Mandalorian episodes. Chow doesn't exactly sound like a white American Anglo-Saxon name, does it? Let's be honest. God. Star Wars has made great strides in that department, with The Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker all delivering an inclusive cast. But that didn't exactly help its quality, did it? Move away from that. People just want quality. This over-fixation on fitting quotas is watering down the quality of what's being produced. And as a result, ladies and gents, they are seeing dwindling numbers. But they're still not listening. And that's just basic mathematics. Because they're too focused on that rather than constructing a bloody good script. It's the responsibility of our biggest franchises to not only tell good stories, but reflect the world they exist in and people whose imagination they capture. Well, let's analyse that statement for one second, right? It's important. It's responsibility of our franchises to not only tell good stories, but reflect the world they exist in. But, ladies and gents, I swear the LGBT community had a massive issue with the fact that there was a throwaway lesbian kiss in the back end of The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, we can't have that. We can't have representation like that unless it's front and centre. Bearing in mind, LGBT populace isn't exactly the majority, is it? So if it was a minority role, that's actually a true reflection. What? But you can't say that because that goes against the narrative. God damn. But Lucasfilm's track records for hiring people of colour and women as directors and writers is virtually non-existent. What? Chow? Chow? On the Disney Plus side of things, thanks to Mandalorian, we've seen Lucasfilm's efforts broaden their talent pool with Rick Famuyiwa, Deborah, I can't pronounce her name, sorry, Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi did one of the best episodes. Did the last one, I believe. It was one of the best ones. But we're not going to count them because apparently they're not the people of colour because they're not black. I'm so... Ladies and gents, this world. My God. As much as blockbuster filmmaking has changed in the last 2 decades, basically this is a woe is me. There's no people of colour. There's no women. What happened at the Oscars this year? We had a woman win an Oscar for a soundtrack. We've had Parasite win multiple Oscars. The most Oscars since Walt Disney. But because he's not black, we don't count it as strides of diversity? How egocentric are you to think that it's only black and white? And you discount all other races as a result of that? That's bizarre. That is a weird mentality. To think that inclusivity is exclusively only black and white. What? That's what's happening here, guys. That's literally what's happened here. Taika Waititi, whether you love him or you hate him, he's not white. He is under this terminology, a person of colour. He's not white. Fuck me. Bong Joon-ho, I think his name was Bong Joon-ho, the guy who did Parasite. He's not white. I know, sorry to burst your bubble. That's diversity. He's not white. Doesn't really sound like an Anglo-European name, does it? Bong Joon-ho. But remember, inclusivity is exclusively black and white, apparently. Fucking hell. Oh my God. No doubt the usual chorus will chime in. Here we go. No doubt the usual chorus will chime in with just hire talented filmmakers and don't worry about gender and colour. Well, yeah. Talent. Talent sells films, funnily enough. But for too long, we've been conditioned to believe that white men are the baseline through which... No, we haven't. Again, need I point to this year? This year alone, to the people that you've just quoted directing Mandalorian episodes. It's like I'm living in a Twilight Zone. And here we go. Here we get to the crux of it. Here's how all of the comments that he's just made are absolutely valid. As a black man who grew up loving Star Wars, well, mate, unfortunately, what's your name? Richard Newby. I don't care if you're black. I couldn't give a shit. Couldn't care less. But the fact that you're now saying, as a black man, I'm surprised you didn't start off with this, to be fair. Because how incredibly insensitive and disrespectful you are to other races is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. As a black man who grew up loving Star Wars, couldn't give a shit now. You've literally just disrespected a whole bunch of other races and their achievements. It's disgusting. But because of this, what? Again, inclusivity, it's exclusively black and white, apparently. Total nonsense. And there'll be people that agree with me. So, you know, those that disagree, check the comments. Anyway, like I say, remember, and this is all because of his pigmentation. As a black man who grew up loving Star Wars, the potential for Dillard and Owens to broaden the reach of this franchise is nothing short of immensely gratifying. And both filmmakers have pushed for strong and complex roles for people of colour and women within their respective worlds, as have most people nowadays, right? So let's not get it twisted, it's not just them. But unfortunately, in their effort to do that, they've not produced good product, and that's the bottom line, it's a business. So in their efforts to do that, they've not produced good products. Luke Cage is not hugely liked, like it definitely has its fan base, but it's still considered to be quite weak. And this guy's talking about this like they're the Lord and Saviour of Star Wars now. Again, making their potential for perspective within Star Wars all the more exciting. Lucasfilm is a perfect opportunity to redefine the franchise and make it clear that the series belongs to more than just those who fell in love with the property in 1977. I think they've been doing that for a while now, mate, to be fair. While we won't be entirely satisfied until the project goes into production, Dillard, this is what I mean. You're threatening them. Well, look, we like it, but we're not going to be too satisfied until it's there. You're never going to... Lucasfilm, you're never going to please these people. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop trying. It's losing you money. Like, goddamn. Unbelievable. I'm sure. I think I'm not the only one that must think this stuff. You must think it too. Ah, dear. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, the people, I'd love to hear from the black people that watch my channel, whether you think person of colour is a racially, well, like a bit of a racist term. I hate that term. I think that's awful. It sounds weird saying it. Person of colour. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Take care.